What's up, fellow gamers? Welcome back to another episode of Timberborn. Now, after the last episode was over, I did play for a little bit longer just to go ahead and get this little section finished off. You guys saw the last episode, you saw that we were currently building this. And what this little contraption will do, I don't know if it's the most efficient or not, but what this is going to do is it's going to allow us to take the bad tide and spit the bad tide out the back over here. As you guys can see, we got sluices set up here, and they are locked up or set. Oh, we switch back over to auto now. I'm glad I just checked on that. This is going to close when the contamination is below 5%, so whenever the water gets over 5% contaminated, it will spit all the water out of the back over here. In today's episode, what we're going to focus on here, now we want to get a little water storage going, so we're going to use this little area right here. As you can see, what we started to build, we're going to work on getting some water stored here. This way, when each one of the droughts come, we also have some backup water stored. And then I think from there, since this map is so small and we're starting to run out of metal up here, it looks like we're going to start looking into moving our beavers down to this half of the map down over here. And I think we'll work our way to maybe controlling the bad water. We need to start getting some booms, so we probably got to start getting some bad water pumps in down here or up here somewhere. Start working our way over towards this mine down here that we keep on talking about in all the other episodes. And then maybe if we have enough time, then we can start looking into building some robots. Anybody who's been watching my live stream knows that I love my robots in this game. They are amazing. They don't need food, they don't need water, and they also don't sleep. So to get started here, let's go ahead and head into our landscaping tab, and we're going to start building a line of levees coming off both sides of this little contraption here. You might be asking yourself, Smooth, why don't you just build this big set of stairs there? Why don't you have them start running around and doing all this? Well, if you played this game, you know the beavers like to go get themselves trapped in different places. In order to efficiently keep them under control and where they can go to, you can build things like I just built right there. And now they only have the choice to go ahead and climb up this ladder, start here, and then work down, and then work their way across one by one. They can't ever go in here and then have a beaver build this section here and then get trapped on this side. So let's throw some more levees in over here real quick. And I think as soon as we do that, we'll go ahead and start on pausing. We did get one bad tide when we played for a little while after the last recording, and that killed off a bunch of our crops. They have already replanted it all. I did get a third farmhouse going in over here to help them replant faster. And then as you guys can see on this side, I put another farmhouse here and I put another farmhouse here, and that allowed them to plant in all the open spots over here because we almost ran out of food there. I think ideally we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 7 pods here. It does leave us with some homeless beavers, so we do have to look into more housing currently, but I think whatever the population ends up being with this many pods, we're going to see if we can sustain with water and food for this many beavers, and then probably start switching over to robots from there. I do have to start looking into over here how to get in some more housing. Is that 2 slots there? Is that 2 or 1? I think it's only 1. I'd like to sneak another house in over here somewhere, just temporarily to keep all the houses together. Not sure we're going to be able to do that though. We'll have to figure it out. We might need 2 more. These can only house 10 over here, huh? What about these houses? Tell you what, we might do this for now. We're going to go and put a double platform there, single platforms in around that, go into housing, unlock this larger row house, slap 2 of them in right there, and then we'll sneak a little path in right there in front of them. That'll allow us to house 16 more beavers once they get to building that. And while we got this set up here, we can probably just go ahead and fill the rest of this in. Yeah, that was a little bit easier to build from this side, honestly. And I think if we just back up a little bit here, this one will also be a little bit easier to build from here, probably. Or to tell them to build from here, I should say. I'm not actually building it, obviously. There we go. Now that we got that set up, we'll just go into here real quick. Slap a little path on top, even though it's really dark red, it'll be okay. Good enough. Now they can get going there. And then afterwards too, if you guys look on the inside of this, outside of all the extra rubble I have inside of there from all the stairs and everything that I tore down, we're gonna TNT this down once we have access to TNT to try to get it all back down to at least the height of these sluices right here. But that's not gonna be until after we build the water storage tank here. And it should be enough to hold quite a bit of water for now, enough to get us through a couple of droughts, so that we can get moving down the other side of the map down here. There's a lot going on down here that's untouched. There's a lot of wood up top. There's a lot more metal over here. There's the mine down at the bottom. I really want to start getting to some of this bad water. It would be nice to actually get to it up here. Now, currently we have 178 logs. These are almost grown here, so that's not too bad. I don't know which ones were the last ones to grow over here. It looks like we're not going to be getting any new trees for a little while here though. Outside of these ones, what were these at? Yeah, these are about 90%. So we still got to wait for the last 10% here, which is probably going to be at least 3 more days. For the next 3 days, this is all the wood we have to work with. And even when they grow, it's not going to be that much. We did just run out of planks, so we're going to go ahead and turn this back on. I didn't even notice that it was off, honestly. And maybe we pause this guy, because we currently have 9 open jobs, it looks like. And if this guy's sitting on his ass here, that means that we have the maximum amount of gears that we can store. Let's go ahead and pause that guy for a little bit. We might also need another kohlrabi storage here. This kohlrabi storage is full at the moment. We do got a lot of kohlrabis out there. A lot of these beavers are starting to sit on their ass because there's nowhere for them to store the kohlrabis. Yeah, they even got 15 inside of all these buildings, I bet you. Not that one though. Almost, but not quite. We go in, we can slap 2 of those right here. Head on into the storage tab. Grab another one of these medium warehouses for now. Plop one of them right there. And we will highlight this and tell them to store... Where's kohlrabis? Kohlrabi. There we go. Tell them to store more kohlrabis for us. Oh, this isn't too bad. So we did build a hauling post, and this is where all 8 jobs that are unoccupied are at. They're all inside of the hauling post currently. I was clicking around, I'm looking at all the jobs, I'm like, who doesn't have a job right now? What buildings don't have a job? It's the hauling post right here. Good enough. I know I probably could have just clicked on this and it would have showed me. Yeah, gear workshop paused. Smelter doesn't have power. I would have had to look at this number right here. So it shows that the hauling post only has 2 over 10 people inside of it. And we do have another bad tide approaching. So thankfully we did settle that situation. And what I think we're gonna do, we're gonna keep an eye on this, and when it gets to be pretty close, we're gonna store, we can store a little bit of water inside of here currently. We can store it up to the height of the top of this, which is not a lot of water, but it is a little bit to start. I'm gonna double check, I believe right here at the start of the video, yeah, we did turn this on to automate it, so as soon as that bad tide starts, it should start coming out of the back here. We're gonna try not to touch that, make sure all those settings are set right. And let's get this one ready here. We're gonna set this, keep a depth of 0.5 below the bottom down there. This is the great thing about sluices, guys. Once you guys learn how to control these things and use them, you can just automate the entire system. It is showing the current downstream depth, which is really good. And then we currently have floodgates here behind the regular dam. So if I turn the camera this way real quick for you guys, this is just a regular dam back here, and the dam holds at 0.65. And what I did is I put a set of floodgates in front of it so that I can keep the water a little bit higher. So currently the floodgates will keep the water at 0.85 inside of here. So as soon as the bad tide or the drought hits, the water will be pretty high in this area. These sluices right over here, they're gonna go ahead and keep this area at least wet inside of there. And then if I back up and come over here, these set of sluices up top will go ahead and keep water inside of this area, as well as keep a little bit of storage inside of this. And then this will go ahead and spit all the bad tide out of the back. We should be okay here, in theory. Let's find out how that actually plays out. All right, just running a little test trial here so far. This is currently closed, so it should have the water about 0.85. Actually, I can check it by clicking on these sluices over here. Depth is 0.82. And then because we went and built the second levee, or a levee above the top of the sluices here, we can store the water a little bit higher up top here. So we did set this one to go ahead and keep the downstream depth at 1.5. And as you can see, we got a little bit, just a very little bit of water stored inside of here. It is not much at all, but it is a little something. Bad tide's gonna last 3 days, and this did automate and work correctly. So you see our bad tide water is good and spitting right out of the back. So we shouldn't have to deal with the bad water, at least through the area where our crops is for a little while. We obviously need to get down here to this side of the map in order to take care of the rest of the map, to actually conquer the full map, deal with all the bad water that comes out of just this bad water source here. And I think eventually what I would like to do is go ahead and send it back off this way off the map. Maybe what I might actually do is I'll send it this way, and then I'll build a contraption here along this edge of the map with a bunch of wheels, maybe a couple rows of them, 2 or 3 rows high, and go ahead and generate a whole bunch of power with that. Because once you put the cap on top of the bad water source, you can open it and close it. See if I can show that to you guys real quick. Yeah, so right here, if I get this bad water discharge, it allows me to seal the bad water source, and then I can open it and close it. And this is what it would look like for you guys. Although it does require 300 gears, 200 metal blocks, and 50 dynamite. So we do need to get the dynamite first, which we don't have. And we don't quite have 200 metal blocks or 300 gears yet. We're not terribly too far off from those numbers though. And just from looking at this over here, once they get another row of blocks or levees across the top of this here, even they get it up to this height. So one more row. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Maybe I should have had them build that first actually. I should have done that. It's too late now. But once they get that row up, then I can go ahead and set this sluice over here, these 3 sluices up top here to go ahead and automate. And then even when the regular water is going, it'll just keep some water inside of this tank. Any excess water will flow off the back. Yeah, this is going to be really good once this is set up. Okay, cool. They do have this housing in already too, so that's good. We have all beavers back inside of a house. Our well-being is only level 5. We're doing great in that department, as you guys can tell. Our bad tide has ended already too. We are on cycle 10. 10 already? I feel like we just started this series. We're on cycle 10 already? Tell you guys what, I was just sitting here trying to play with the sluices for a second. I do need to go ahead and just open everything back up temporarily. I think we need to just go over here, set this back to open for now. Come on over here, set these back to open. We do have the settings set up, so they just gotta get switched back over to automated from when we do have a bad tide, but until they get this a little bit higher, I can't leave this one up top open or on automatic. I can't leave it on either one of them with the other sluices downstairs set because the block height is just too high inside of there. So currently, at least, it'll keep on flooding. So until they go ahead and get at least one more row built across the top of this little area right here, we got to go ahead and just keep these sluices open during the wet season. Probably going to be a little while too, because we're only sitting at 15 logs. As you guys might already know, all of these are just require 12 logs apiece, and that's a lot of logs, and we currently have 15. So I'm sitting here looking at these numbers. We have 5 open jobs. We have 57 beavers, but I think our housing only allows for, yeah, these are 10, 20, 30, 40, plus 16, so 56. We can only house 56. We already have a homeless beaver, even though we just made more beds than what we had available. So we already need to build more housing over here somehow. Let's see, if we tell them to go ahead and build, so hard to see in here. We tell them to go ahead and build a double decker there, single decker here with a set of stairs going up this way. So the set of stairs going up there will knock this set of stairs out when that's all finished. Put a single platform there, and that'll allow us to put some more housing on top of this here. I'm just gonna connect it all up with a little path over here. I was gonna drive my OCD crazy, but it is what it is. There, our planks are back up to full again, so hopefully they'll stop burning through some of our logs currently. Our log count is really low, but they are using them all up to, to keep building everything over here, so it's understandable. There is not a lot of scrap metal left at all up here, and as soon as those are done, we can go ahead and knock down these 2 little stations right here, honestly. This guy's already sitting on his ass. Both sitting on their ass. I'm checking up here. These guys are sitting on their ass because their little stations are full. They got 20 scrap metals out of that one. He's got 20 scrap metals out of that one. Our storage is full, but there's still is the availability for them to go ahead and make some more metal blocks, so that will actually open up. As soon as this guy here, so yeah, he's got the availability to fill up his little hut here. As soon as he gets that done, and these guys will be out of the way for a little while. We'll go ahead and knock those stations down, have them find other jobs. So we do currently have 2 jobs open, and that'd be perfect for these 2 guys. I could probably even pause one of them temporarily. Good idea. Glad you thought of it. I'll tell you what we're gonna do. We're gonna start getting them a way to get down over here, because I think what the overall goal is gonna be moving forward from here. One, even though our wood's starting to look good, we can get them to start coming down here and cutting down some of this wood. But I want to get over to this side over here, and I think right down in this section right down here, I'll get another set of stairs. I'll get them down to this section, and then I'm gonna put a bunch of water wheels down here, and we're gonna start building the robots over here. Clear this wood out, we'll build some robots, and the robots will go over and start taking over this efficient mine. They'll also take care of the bad water for us, and we can split this into a second district where this side is just the robots. This way we don't have to worry about food or water or anything else coming over here. They can literally just store themselves some wood. They can grow their own wood, and they can go ahead and take care of bad water storage, metal, and all that kind of stuff for now. They can make us all the dynamite. So we can start off by putting a set of stairs here, and I think if we just tell them, let's turn this way for a second. We go into the power tab. Do we want the large wheel? I think we're going to use the compact ones for now. That'll be okay. Put a line of them right here. Put a second line right here. I'll go ahead and just stick a little path right there. I think for the time being, we'll just run a path here. In case we gotta connect power or anything. Do the same thing down this side, just so they can get over to everything. In theory, those wheels should make us about 60 horsepower a piece. So each one of these should make about 240. Let's go into science real quick. We're gonna need 3 of these, which is gonna be 450, and 2 of these, which is gonna be 500. So we need about 900. We're gonna need a few more rows of these. I think if we just put this one platform here, right here, they can reach this one from the land right here. They can run over, they can build on an angle 1 block, so they should be able to build that one from here. And then if they step out here, they should be able to build that one from this angle over here. And that very last one, they can cross that bridge and they can build it from this side. Because we did build them a path back over here that allowed them to build all 4 of these and then all 4 of those. And then what I think we'll do is we'll go down here, we'll build another set of platforms, we'll build a few more, and so on and so on. We'll continue building a whole bunch of them down here. If you guys look, this water flows pretty fast to this area, and this will even stay flowing during a bad tide. I think they stop during a drought. I'm pretty sure the bad water source also stops during the drought, unless we have that cap on top of it. We will have power a bunch of the times and not always until we go ahead and get a cap on top of here, but we're going to build robots first before we go and waste our metal on that cap. We're going to build some robots. We're going to have the robots come over here and start working the efficient mine, which will allow them to get more metal, and then in return that'll allow us to go ahead and basically have an unlimited supply of robots at that point. Tell you what, before we get into that, we need to look about how much science we have, because that's going to require a lot of science in order to unlock all that stuff. The bot factory is 500. Let's go ahead and unlock that now. We do have 1600. The bot assembler is going to be 750. We're going to go ahead and unlock that. That's in order to actually create the bots. That leaves us with 377. We know for sure we need the charging stations once we have robots, because otherwise they just run out of power and can't do anything. The real questionable part is going to start to become whether or not we have another bad tide approaching already. The bad part's going to start to become whether or not we have enough science to unlock the jobs for the robots to work at, because every job in and of itself, I don't have any robots yet where I can't show you guys. I will show you once we get to that point. We need to build a robot. Once we have our first robot built, a little tab's going to open up here inside of this menu that you can click on to tell it to either be a robot or to stay as a beaver. But in order to do that, each job requires you to pay science to unlock it, just like all the other unlocks in this game. We are so close here in order to be able to get another block height in our side of our storage area. They're not going to get it before this next bad tide though. They are doing really good here though. They got, probably 35-40% of this built already though. And this whole section was all deeper. Everything gradually starts climbing up in height now, so it'll be a little bit faster for them to run through the rest of this. All right, we are down to the last day, so let's go ahead and slow the speed back down for a second. We have this set to 0.85. Let's go back over to this sluice real quick. We click this to automate. This area back here should start to fill up a little bit. All right, this area is filling up. That's good. That's good. Sluices are a little funny. We sat here and played back and forth with them a little bit. Sometimes, even though you set the settings on it, you got to close it and open it, close it and open it a few times in order for it to actually register that you want it to automate at a certain level. But now, because we have that last block in over here, we can automate this sluice, which now allows us to have a little bit more storage of water inside of there. It's not that much, but if I go ahead and bounce down here, there's a row of water there that comes out around this section currently, and then there's a smaller section through there, and then I believe there's at least one more down below that. So right now it's 3 blocks deep, very small on the bottom, of course. Second one up, decent. Third one's a little bit bigger. And then as soon as we get the rest of the storage tank built, or the rest of the storage tank built, we can fill it all the way up. Just having it that deep so far allows us to automate this sluice. So now this sluice, if I can click on the damn thing, if this sluice is set to automate, it is currently closed because the downstream depth is at 0.99. We have it set to close when the downstream depth is at 0.75. But this will also close whenever the contamination goes above 5%. In theory, it should never need this on. This is just a safety metric for me, because you can see the height of the sluices that I'm just showing you right here. These sluices that are 3 blocks below that, 3 courses below that, these should open up as soon as the contamination gets to be above 5% at that height. So in theory, as soon as the bad tide starts, this should open up, spit all of it out before anything reaches that top block. And as you guys can see, the way this is set up, so that currently, since this doesn't need any more water down here, these sluices are closed. As you see, it says auto closed, and the extra water just flows off the back as opposed to flooding the entire area. So I don't know if this is how everybody else builds them, but this was just a little idea I came up with this out of my head. What I have learned through some trial and error is typically however many water source blocks you have inside of there, down at the bottom, is also the same amount of sluices that you want to have controlling the water source. You can use more, so if you have 3 water source blocks, you can use 3 or more sluices, but don't use less. So don't use 2 or 1 sluices, because the power of the water source, the amount of water flow coming through, will overpower the amount of sluices that could allow the water to move through it when you're trying to automate. And let's see here, we got 0.2 days left, and we're going to speed up the time a little bit. In theory, 0.1 days, we will watch this. This should completely close, and then all that bad tide should go off the back, and we should have some water stored inside of here. There we go, opened up. Bad tide going out the back. Looking pretty good. Doing what we wanted to do. And we do have water stored inside of here, so we're in pretty good shape. We are in pretty good shape. Let's go ahead downstream here real quick. Okay, they are starting to make these power wheels already, so this is pretty good. This is nice too. So these are supposed to only put out, oh, they're putting out 40 horsepower. power. I thought they were supposed to put out about 60. So we're going to end up needing a lot of those by the time we're all said and done here, and that's okay. We do have one unemployed beaver. Why don't we go ahead and give him a job then? We're going to set up another lumberjack flag right over here so that we can get somebody to come over and collect these. We'll set the workplace priority up a little bit, and we're going to go ahead and tell him to cut down all these trees through here, and then we'll get rid of his job. We go into cut trees. Boom. There you go. Now they all should be highlighted. He should come over and cut them all down once they get all that built. And we want to come back over here to the housing and see how they made out. All right, so they did build all that inside of here. As soon as the morning comes again, we're going to break these stairs, put a platform here, and then increase the priority of them building that platform. Because we have 6 homeless beavers again, and now we have 5 unemployed beavers. There we go. Got the platform in. Priority of it is set to high. They should slap that in during the day here really quick. These guys are making out really good over here, man. Look at this. This is really good. Ooh, bad tide ended already. Let's go back up top and see how this makes out. We might need to help it out a little bit. Maybe this wasn't the best design. If we open this, well, this is what I was doing earlier when I mentioned to you guys an opening and closing. I'm going to try to rinse out that bad tide a little bit faster here. In theory, if I click this to auto, will it let water back? Everything should be automated now. It says this is closed. Why is this water starting to pour out over the top of that? It says it's closed. There it goes. It just took a second to catch back up, I guess that's all. Tell you what, looking at this again, once they even get this block put in right here that I just highlighted, once they get that block in, I can go ahead and raise this water level again, putting more water inside of that tank. And they're making that down here. Seems like they're prioritizing all the wood. For a reason they're not building this platform here. Not too far from a path. It's obviously connected to a path right there. They also did not build this yet. I think they're focusing just on building that whole tank up top. The big massive dam tank. I'll tell you guys what, since all the beavers are focused on building the rest of this dam that's out of here, the rest of this water tank, we're going to go ahead and fast forward for you viewers until we can get them downstairs and they go ahead and start building the next section that we got set up. So, see you guys in a few seconds. Okay, we are back. It didn't actually surprisingly take that long. If I'm not mistaken, we're still in the same cycle because it says that there's a drought approaching in 1.1 days. We're going to pause this for one moment and turn our screen. Yeah, they haven't even finished officially building it, I guess. There's a levee over there. There's one more levee over there for them to build. We're going to adjust the height on this sluice. We're going to raise it all the way up. All the way up. Let's see. You can go up to 7. So we wanted it about 6.75. If we unpause, in theory, that should have opened up. I see the water level going up inside of there. That's pretty good. It should go ahead and close again as soon as it gets close to full. Yeah, look at all that water we're going to have in there now. This is actually a good test here, right here in this first drought. It closed here momentarily. It just closed. Got a little overflow going. Really shouldn't have done that with all those blocks for it to fill up, but it did. Luckily, it only lasted a brief second. So this drought will be a good test to see how much water, how long, well, one, seeing how long this drought is and whether or not that much water can survive a drought that long. Let's go ahead over here. How are these guys making out? Still got a little bit of scrap metal left, so we are going to leave that guy with his job over there. This has no inventory in it. We're going to go ahead and delete that. Yeah, we do have a guy working here. His place still is full. Looking down here too, it's going to stay full because we are full on our metal block storage, and that's okay for now. Let's head down here. Oh, they actually did really good down here. It did really good. So why don't we do this? We know we want more power wheels down here because these aren't producing as much power as we'd like. So if we go into the power wheel here, select the compact power wheel. We can build 3 more there. We can build 4 more there for now. We do need to give them a little platform here in order to be able to reach that middle one. And then at least 2 platforms here so that they can reach that edge one. Continue that path down over here for now. That should allow them to get on over here. All right, and this guy's making that pretty good. He's already started to cut down this entire area, so that's good. I feel like some of them were green. Did they all just die recently? So I'm gonna go back in the video and let me know whether or not these were alive. I feel like these were alive earlier in the video. We're still only on cycle 11, day 14. Let's do some quick math here. So we need 3 of these. Each one of these require 150. So that is going to be 450 power for these. We need 2 more bot assemblers, or 2 in total. So that's another 500. And we do end up needing a lot of charging stations. The charging stations are 50. So what are we going to start off with? So we're going to start off with like, we'll say like 8 of them. So that'll be another 400 power. What is that? 9 is 1350 so far. And then we are going to want to put a number cruncher over here. If we go into, it's also here in science actually. That's going to be another 500. We don't have the science to unlock that yet. That's 1.5, 1500 science. Can't talk. Words are hard. We currently have 765. So we're only about halfway there from the last time we used up all of our science. So if we go to about 2000 power, that should get us what we need for a little while. Each one of these or 60. That's a lot of these wheels we're gonna need. We're probably not gonna have enough power, honestly. I think it's gonna end up being somewhere in the mid 30s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. We currently have 15 built. Yeah, we're not gonna have enough. So we're just gonna max out as many of them as we can get through here, and then we'll connect all the power up. So I think just to keep all of our builders going, we can build that from there, that from there. We can build this one from here. Probably need to tell them to demolish some of these trees over here. That's fine. We head into this demolish tab. We gotta tell them to just knock down some of these trees that are really close over here. We're gonna just help them knock all these down, quite honestly. So if we go ahead and put 3 of these buildings right here, 2 of these on top, some platforms there, stairs going in there. We'll run a path down this way real quick just so they can get down here and finish building some of those power wheels for now. And then we'll clean up this little ugly path section here once they're all done building a lot of this. We still got to connect all the power on this. And now I'm thinking about that. We might need, no, we shouldn't need any of the vertical shafts. Everything is going to be up at land height, so it should just be some turns and some straights, maybe some 3-ways and 4-ways, but that's all unlocked. It comes unlocked to start, so that's perfect. Let's go see how our tank's getting on over here. Oh, whoa. That is running out of water, huh? We got 3.5 days left. Well, you know what, though? We have not shut off the water pumps. So it would be helpful if need be. We'll keep our eyes on the tank each time we get a drought then currently. If the tank starts to get empty or does get empty, we do want to shut these water pumps off. Oh, another way we can resolve that too, actually, is we could build more water storage, keep a lot more storage so we could shut them off right at the beginning of the droughts. But ideally, we want a big enough tank that we never need to shut them off ever. I'll tell you what, for episode 3, guys, and cycle level 11, having the bad tide under control and already having a, even if only small, if having a water tank storage is already accomplished, that's not too bad at all. And then obviously, as you guys seen, we got all these power wheels set up down here, end stations set up already to go ahead and start building box. That's not too bad. 3 episodes in, not too bad, not too bad. Let me know how I'm doing, guys. Our drought did just end. We're going to pause for a moment. We're going to go over to the tank and see how well that maintained. All right, it did not run out of water. I want to watch it fill back up real quick. I want to see if it's going to overflow again. Probably is for a split second. Currently it takes like almost a full day to go ahead and get the water filled back up through all these heights. Yep, it did overflow. Very quickly fixes itself though. All right, good enough for me. Let's all automate it. We're going to leave that be for now. Go ahead back over here, see how they're making out. All right, they do got one of these buildings built. This is all starting to crank out some power now though. Not as much as I'd really like though. I wish it was higher. All right, we do got to set what we want them to make. We have the first one set to limbs. This one we're going to set the chassis. And the very last one we're going to set to make the heads. All right, we came up top here. There's only 8 scrap metal left inside of this. This guy's going to be finished. That leaves us with 136 planks, but still about 200. It's going to end up being a little over 200 scrap metal. And I believe it's 2 scrap metal, 2 scrap metal and a little bit of wood to make one of the metal blocks. So that allows us to have an extra 100 metal blocks. Looking back up top here, we got about 137 metal blocks currently, and we'll make about 100 more. Let's go down here and see what we're going to need in order to finish this. They got the 3 bottom buildings built, so they need another 30 metal blocks in that one. They need all 50 in that one. They're going to use about 80 of them, which is only going to leave us about 50 plus the extra 100. Leave us about 150 metal blocks left over. Let's see what we need. All right, luckily we only need 25 for the number cruncher, so we're only going to have a few bots built prior to being able to unlock and build this mine on top of here. That's another 4,000 science. Oi! So we have to build that number cruncher really soon. Oh, we don't have treated planks yet either. We also need 300 treated planks for this. We're not making treated planks yet, so we need to get the number cruncher and treated planks going right away, as soon as possible. That's priority 1 now. Well, they do have the first bot assembly station, the bot assembler, up and built, which is really good because it's a lot of materials. 50 gears is 50 metal blocks, which they just filled up here inside of there, but then it's 100 planks. And now I'm beginning to notice that, oh, the planks here, we only have 2 of them right now. We got to keep in mind that we're also using planks to make gears, which we only have 6 of. So the planks are getting rinsed. We're starting to run into several issues here. We don't have the power connected yet. We don't have planks to even go ahead and finish building this, or these platforms and landings and stairs. We also need the treated planks, which we're not currently making any of, which we need 300 of, plus 450 gears to get the mine, to get any more future metal. I mean, about the only thing we have going for us right now is that this says we have 10 unemployed beavers. We might have enough beavers to go ahead and occupy all these buildings once they're all up and running. But I think we're going to save that for the next episode, guys. Y'all made it this far inside of the video. You know the routine by now. Please go ahead and drop a like. Let me know how I'm making out down in the comment section below. Really helps out with the algorithm. And until next time, peace, love, and happiness, y'all.